Hi, Bebel. Hi, Kathy's Guided Like Tarot. Hey, Kay. Hey, Earth Mama. This is Melissa, your Fringe Psychic. It is September uh, 16th, 2025. And this is another live. Hey, Jackie. Um, what can I say? Oh, geez. Yeah, the Trump live reality TV show goes full on, fascist in our faces for entertainment purposes only. Um, uh, the information I'm going to be getting, I ask my guides. So my tagline is, I'm a psychic. What do I know? Just getting things from my guides and to try to answer questions best I can. Again, entertainment purposes only. So this is such a weird time. Hey, Siag. Hey, Nanette. Um, Stephanie, did I say hi to you yet? Juanita, hi. So I'm sure we all have lots of questions today, a lot to decompensate. Every time something happens, that's outrageous and outraging us, bringing our rage up, it's what they want, this is how it's supposed to go. This is how they're supposed to achieve their authoritarian dream. This is 2025, it was all plotted beforehand, how to get us, how to scare us, or at least what they're trying to do. Hey, Sylvia, Linda, good to see you. Thank you everybody for coming. And I'm so interested to hear your thoughts too, what your guides are telling you, what your intuition's telling you, however you get that information from the collective consciousness. So every week seems like an eternity, right? And it's an emotional whirlwind, or like we're all on this very, very, very stormy sea to the point of seasickness. But where's the journey taking us is the question. So you're hearing me, right? I'm not even using a microphone today. I'm going to invest in a good microphone, actually. Even though the one I had wasn't that bad, but I think it started to have some shorts or something because it wasn't reliable. But I think the computer microphone's okay. If it's not, I'll go grab my mic. But I think that one is, yeah, I think there's probably a loose wire or something in it. So, okay, so you can hear me. We're good. I'm not just, I'm a lot of hot here. It's just a joke, but so here are questions. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, do you remember the thing about the Epstein files? See, heck, here, I'll put your comment up here. We have to remember, we have to go back, like if we think of, well, how much is our dear leader, the Orange one, wanting to stop our files from the Epstein files from getting out? Well, when Felon or Leon mentioned it, brought it up the first time, right? A few months ago, he bombed, dear leader bombed Iran. And now he's blowing up Venezuelan bomb, allegedly innocent. Well, they're all innocent, whatever they're doing. We have no right to attack. America has no right to attack vessels that are not in our waters. Somebody one day there has to be, and I will ask the guys, but there has to be some kind of international accountability here. It's going to be. So yeah, so much stalling, blow up the world to stop whatever's in there. So if we want to speculate, because that's all we're really doing, why do you think Who is it? Is it just Dear Leader that doesn't want these files to come out? Does it involve more people? What is the deal? Because my sense is that there's just something bigger than we are, not something that we can imagine, but that we are imagining regarding those files. There's things in them that it's not just one person. I don't believe that. I think it's a lot of very, very wealthy and maybe very important, powerful people who don't want those files to get out. And maybe Dear Leader is the front man for all of that. It makes no sense. It's so much overreaction. It's ridiculous. Plus, it only makes it worse. And I honestly don't think Leon is gonna stop, or Rupert Murdoch. So, what was the big deal? Did we talk about it last week? 18,000 emails that got released. Who released those? The Wall Street Journal into the public. And has anybody seen a breakdown since the unfortunate passing away of their beloved Lord and Savior through such unfortunate circumstances? Has anybody heard the breakdown of what is in those 18,000 emails? I started to hear some things about them, but then gone. I haven't heard any more on them. Thank you, Marjorie. I will twinkle as much as I can, if it's helpful. So it's just ridiculous. So they're always like overreacting, such drama queens, that administration. What the hell? This was another question here. It's pretty bad, but you would think that you don't have to wag the dog all the time, unless you do. So do you know what wag the dog means? Because I use that term a lot. I think that's what's happening to us through the media. The propaganda, really, isn't that what I should be saying? Wag the dog comes from a term where it's a political term, and there was a movie that was famous for using that analogy. But instead of waiting for something to happen, you create an incident, and then you control the narrative because you have already factored in how that's going to affect people. You wag the dog, you take control of what's going to happen, or how things are going to go. And if anybody has a better way to explain that term, but that's how I kind of grasp it. So we're being wagged and wagged and wagged and wagged again. And somehow, the powers that be on that dark side think we don't have memory, and we don't know how to use social media. And they don't understand, they literally are the party who just throws anything at the wall to see what sticks. And they don't have they short term, they're very good at calculating. Because they've already got the media, in their pocket, and they're figuring out what the reaction is likely to be, but they don't understand that it's more complicated than that, and what they're setting up isn't just linear. It's going to potentially be fragmenting their own people, So, oh wow, I'm sorry, Jane, that your son got suspended. Well, it's all part of this. Like right now, they think they've got the high ground, and they're using fear tactics to do things like that. But I think there's going to be a huge amount of cases where, regarding the First Amendment, and I think it will stop. And I think that people will be obviously suing the people who fired them there's no cause for that. But right now, it's like that's what wagging the dog means. They're trying to set up a chain, and they are effectively setting up a chain reaction to intimidate, to hit us over the head with that. It doesn't matter, whatever. Obviously, CK was one extreme right wing person, but what are we missing out on? The fact that they're now embracing that because they're coming out from uh, behind whatever the thin veil they tried to erect, and saying, like, this is us, this is our savior. So we have to seriously look and reveal to them, or not reveal to them, but they should know that we know now. This is who they are. Just like Fancy Pants, Mr. VP took over, or guest hosted, uh, their now Jesus Christ successor. Oh, the Messiah must have come and gone already, uh, because that is who they are. That is who they are. That is what they believe, and they don't see hypocrisy because that is who they do follow the Antichrist. And the maddening thing is that they are projecting so much of that on us, but they don't even let you. They don't want you to look at things that their new Christ said, the new Martin Luther King said. They're trying to like merge all of that together, but that's who they are. They are that rhetoric. Um, so um, I'm sorry that happened, Jane, but we're in this just crazy, uh, bizarro land. I don't think it's going to last. I think that the whatever rule of law is left is going to come up hard against it. Yeah. So it kind of goes against. It's not the smartest tactic because if they that is what they believe. Obviously, that is what Fancy Pants is all about, and our Orange One, and everybody else. So, God knows Leon with his right wing fascist speech, and that he wasn't even there. He was on a big screen, like Orwellian screen, about how all the left should be done away with. So I can say that. So that this is the narcissistic thing. Is I can say the most outrageous, horrible things. I can be evil and cruel, but don't you dare cross me, because once you do that, I'm going to project it all on you, and I'm going to punish you. It's perverse, sadistic, and they're all into that, obviously. Yeah, Fana, I think so too. There is going to, I mean, this has only been a couple days, right? Things are going to turn around and there will be lawsuits, but then we'll be on to the next thing. This is just, they have like the ADD, time interim, right? It's all of these things just happen short term. Just like, I mean, look at your leader who, when asked the day after, I think, was it the day after or the day after that, when their new Christ, the new Christ had departed. Uh, Probably they're going to rewrite, like they're going to write another gospel or something, and he's going to have like risen up and come back, like come back from the dead or something. They're going to deify him as much as they can. And when the press asked him, "Well, how are you feeling? And how are you doing today, dear leader?" He says, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Did you see the ballroom? Look at the trucks are here." So there you go. They're going to take as much as they can from it, but I think that it's just going to have short steam because everything's so everything falls apart for them. Like the whole way that the FBI, um, their cross-eyed leader there. Nothing wrong with cross-eyed. That's just an eye issue. But that one, I don't want to say his name, I guess. he's facing major criticism because he screwed up. Because I think they wanted him to just come out and say, "Oh yes, we have him, and it's like a leftist, and it's this and that." But it took like the narrative got away from him and opened up enough doubt that that fragmented the way that they were going to put that across. Um, and now there's you really like it'd be interesting to see the splintering between even more between the Fuentes and the people and the new Christ has risen GOP martyr. Maybe I'll just call him the new martyr, the new GOP martyr on his side. Like there's true followers of that person. He was truly loved amongst the right wing. And then there's Fuentes, the Groypers, right? Who, interestingly enough, you don't have to just ask AI or whatever, or you can research articles. But the Groypers are linked to Russia, and a lot of their iconography or memes are Russian memes. And I truly believe that there's still they're very much fed. Fuentes is very much fed by Russia. So that's like you get into the Steve Bannon territory, and now they were fighting. Like Loomer was in Fuentes's corner. She took down some of her. I wonder, she's not going to get fired, really, is she? For what she was saying about the new martyr, the new GOP martyr, but. She was very much on Fuentes' side. So what did Nancy Pelosi say so many years ago? Like 1 or 2 years ago, whatever. It all comes down to Putin and Russia. So this reminds me so much of Butler, Pennsylvania. I see it almost identical. The same age range, the same weird, he comes from a similar family as the Crooks, and Rooftop, a lot of confusion there. Surely seems staged to me in this one too. So hey Steve, nice to see you. Hey Barbie. So let's see. I wasn't really following the chat. I'm sorry. I was kind of getting into the spins or seeing how that was all coming out. Sometimes I just figure things out just by talking them through. Linda, you're saying, like during the French Revolution, let them eat cake mentally. We aren't stupid. Yeah, MAGAs are turning on their dear leader, and the files are not going away. It's always going to come back to the Epstein files. And have you been watching the coverage of what's going on in England, how they're preparing for dear leader's visit there? It's hysterical. They're so good at trolling him. They just, I guess they had a huge picture, copy of the photograph, one of them of Epstein and dear leader together, and it's just everywhere. He's not going to get away from it. He's going to be going. I don't know why. Does anybody know why he's going there, or has he gone already? Yeah, exactly. Amalar says, yep, and their families have no clue about this underground subversive gamer stuff. It's through the gaming, like it was with not just the Butler, Pennsylvania shooter, but so many school shooters. I really believe there's a whole FSB or KGB style indoctrination, grooming, recruiting with this group, and then they provide them with opportunity and their catalysts for, and who knows, and then they know exactly who they can get to. They're almost like what's the word? It's like they're taking time bombs. They say, and the groomers, I do believe you can trace back probably to Russia. are setting the time, like they have control over these young guys through gaming. And it's all like 4chan and dark web. And you would think that, that's something we could, or if we had a functioning FBI, which they almost might have in Utah. We don't know because they fired the acting heads of the FBI there, right? Uh, um, Cash. I heard something called cash money. Why did it's still so sus that they got fired so quickly? Um, yeah, yeah, JC, I'm of that mind too. I think it was just set up almost like one of the scenarios I had, and again, entertainment purposes only. I don't know. I'm just a psychic, but in my mind, yeah, that's what I was talking about. The banner, and it's from Windsor Castle, Lisa. That's what's trying to. It has a picture of those two. Um, there's so much conspiracy in all that they do. But it's almost like the GOP martyr now. The new GOP martyr was a sacrifice to bring on like they want to permanently enscouse the authoritarian right wing narrative and the executive power cons- um, consolidation. I can't say it. Um, and it's just like a thing, a trick, a way to do it so that they can somehow, sway public opinion or frighten people. They shut everything down, but they're not going to be able to shut the Democrats down. They're not going to be able to get rid of the party. It's not going to happen. My guides say. And I'm going to ask real quickly, and I'm going to get onto the new comments. Kathy, the fact that the orange one isn't controlling the narrative is totally driving him out of control. She's not used to being able to spend everything in his direction. Um, let's see. Yeah, fun. I think he was a sacrifice. So I don't I don't remember who asked me that question about the freezing of his assets. I hadn't heard about that. Yeah, his wife's a little. It's so sus. He has $12 million. Somehow that doesn't seem as much when you think about Leon, but it's quite a bit of money. Um, and I think, I don't need to go into a lot of reasons why I think that he might have been the sacrifice, but it's so weird. Yeah. Yeah, and that's so unprofessional. Like, if I do ask my guys about elections. They say we are going to be having them, but how does Fancy Pants think that this is going to be used against him and when the end of the orange one happens, and it's not like he's popular anyway. How is it, and this he's for the people. How does he represent the American people? He's less and less representative of the American people now than he ever was. It's just a bad move, and yet he's so. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. It's a stupid, stupid thing to do. Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think so. It was just very weird. I think she was like a Miss, wasn't a Miss America contest or something. She's very like um, over dramatic and just odd, very odd. But of course, to be with the new GOP martyr, there's got to be something going on there, and she has her own thing going. I'm talking about the spouse, the trad wife um, of our newly lost and risen martyr person. Um, and churches in his name. Oh my God, these people are so crazy. Um, But yeah, there's so much more. I don't have to cover it all today anymore. There's going to be a lot that's going to come out because the internet, and even if they try to scrub pages, you can go back in time. You can find this stuff out. There's other countries too that are looking. Just I don't know. They think they can. I guess that's typical narcissism. Your grandiosity, thinking that you can control and bamboozle like everybody, but you can't. You really, really can't. Hmm. Yeah. So, does anybody know if Dear Leader is in the UK right now? Why would he want to go now? Like they hate him there. He knows they hate him. What's over there? Is this golf courses or getting away from here? You can't get away. Um, yeah, yeah, I agree with that. They don't care about their popularity, but they have to have some popularity because they have. This is something that I've been thinking about is that they why would they bother to gerrymander if they think that they can do what they did last time with Leon, and as far as I believe, my opinion is that the votes were flipped and Leon did the honors, and that Kamala and Tim are truly our real president and vice president, but they're not really able to do it as cleanly right now. They might be able to do it on some level, but I think that gerrymandering is a mistake for them because they're kind of betting on old statistics regarding those districts that they think are Republican leaning. But I think that things have changed since their leaders come into power, and I think they can't count on those districts anymore. And I remember hearing Texas Paul. Do you know who Texas Paul is? He's got a podcast, and he was in Congress at one point. Now he's running again. And he said that what Texas actually did was open up 10 districts, to possible Democratic takeover because they miscalculate. So if they think they're going to manipulate um, the elections the way through gerrymandering, I don't know if that's possible right now. I think it actually puts them in more peril because things are not like they were, because there's so much splintering in MAGA, and then or there's some, you look at the town halls. You can't just it's like they were too quick to reveal their hand or their plan to take away Medicare and Medicaid and to everything that they're doing, the tariffs, the destruction of the farmland. They're so unpopular. I think that the GOP are more unpopular now than they've ever been. As much as I want to pretend that's not the case, so I think it might be a problem for them. Uh, well, votes will matter. I think they will matter. But I mean, what they want eventually is for them not to matter. But there will be a time when they actually will matter. Like we just got a new congressperson, right? Um, in Virginia, I think a seat was flipped. I just, I just don't think it's going to happen right away in terms of the elections. I think they will continue to have them, and hopefully they won't be able to fully stop our elections. Um, what is Tim Walz's announcement? Did I miss something? So Kathy's saying yeah, that's why did we lose all the jobs? Because they wanted this. Because I heard anyway that our dear leader, the mortgage rates on his properties were like astronomical, and they all were trying. That's why they wanted to fire the Fed. They were trying to get this to happen, but the Fed was only going to do it, based on Biden's economy. They needed to keep it high. But now that I believe the economy is intentionally being destroyed, um, Oh, great. Well, he might as well. I mean, if I do see Kamala and Tim regaining their maybe it's just wishful thinking won't happen. I don't know, but I still have that vision. Then you know that will happen, and it doesn't matter whether he's running for reelection or not. But he needs to run for reelection, I think, right now. Um, well, why would he wait? Yeah, it would be silly of him. There's nothing certain right now, but I believe the trajectory, the intent would be that. If that happens, then But if it doesn't, then Tim needs to run. I think so. Um, so Lisa saying yes, it's not the only one either. That will be others. The judge, but when I have something. Oh, are we talking about seats flipping? It's just complicated. I'm not saying to anybody out there who thinks, and I guess maybe I am naive. I do think that they're trying to stop the elections. I just don't think it's going to happen right now. And I think that they're still putting a lot of money and a lot of time into gerrymandering Missouri, a lot of southern states, and I think that's where the mistakes will happen. I think that Missouri thinks that they're going to. I think now there's like nine leaning GOP districts and one Democratic leaning district, but Missouri has really changed too in terms of whether the popularity of this government. So I still think there's going to be elections, and the elections will go an unexpected way for the Republicans, against the Republicans, I should say. The Republicans will be kind of shocked. That's what I think. Yeah, the Virginia seat that was flipped, 100%. So those are still happening. Those things are still cooking. Oh, here Veritas is saying Virginia special House election due to Jerry Conley's passing. Okay. So we're in a fight right now. I mean, we're in it. We know what they want. We know what they're trying to do, but we also we really need to regain our footing and know that we can push back. We can still push back, and it's fear. They're trying to spread fear and hopelessness. We have to not succumb to fear, and we have to push on. We have to stick together and be strong. So Kathy's saying Texas don't keep backfiring on them. Public, even MAGA are seeing the writing on the wall. Republicans are not representing them. Yeah, things are. That's what I see when I ask my guys is backfiring. Even this event, a tragic event that happened to their that gave them their new martyr. It's going to backlash. Everything they do, everything Trump, everything the leader touches dies, right? Yeah, Lisa, I personally hope that the electoral colleges becomes a thing of the past. I think that's a big obstacle to fair elections. There's so many changes that need to happen. MLR, I still can't get over the fact Massachusetts lowered their flag for Kirk, who's not an elected official, did not meet the criteria. Yeah, 100% agree. That's crazy. I get very upset about all of this stuff, but then I talked to my guides about it, and they want me to calm down and come back into myself, realize again about the spiritual war and how vibrationally, that we, including me, I need to come to a point where I connect to my, let's say, higher self and feel powerful and strong and keep my vision intact no matter what it looks like out there, because I do believe it's evil versus light or light, love, whatever. I do think that spiritual war continues to go on. Yeah, it does make me sick too, Lisa. Right, Melissa, it really is, and that's why we're here. Yes, because when I tap into the light, the energies of Aquarius, the new energies that are available to us, when I come to, when I step outside all that noise, um, which is kind of hard to do because I, for my for my channel, my commitment is to at least be somewhat informed about what's going on. But I also I'm required. I mean, I don't want to live in fear. And whatever happens in this lifetime, I have to remember that I've been through many lifetimes where there's been upheaval, and I just not to get sucked into losing connection with the beauty of the world and the beauty of the collective spirit, and all of this is so tangible to me. They're trying to vampirically suck that from us because they're vampires, and the more they scare us, the weaker they think they'll get, because they'll just feed off our misery, and they'll get bloated and gluttonous with that. Uh, but it's very powerful, just like in all the relationships we've probably had with the narcissists. And who hasn't had a narcissist in their life? Empaths and light seekers, and there's just so many out there anyway, whether in their workplace or at home. What did we learn from that? So we're getting re-traumatized by this government who's working exactly like the narcissists we've known, and they're kind of pushing us into those fear reactions. Taking our letting I don't want to say taking our power from us. They're pushing us into fear so that we're more vulnerable, and then they can step in and as predators and try to take our power from us, or change our belief systems, really, to believe that they're strong and we're weak. But we've done so much learning in our lives about what that really means. Yeah, gray rocking. Exactly. So does everybody know what gray rocking is? Gray rocking is in narcissistic relationship or abuse speak. Is you have two choices with narcissists. Either you go gray rock, which is when you have to interact in some way, but you deprive them of your reaction, because that's what they're looking for. Because that narcissist, they don't people. I've heard people like who don't have, I don't know, I don't want to diss their understanding. I'm just saying that some people think being a narcissist is being in love with yourself and being egotistical and whatever, but it's not necessarily the true diagnostic criteria for narcissism is that narcissists aren't they don't they need to have their reflection verified. They're not so egotistical that they're satisfied with who they are. They hate who they are usually, and they're trying to create situations where they're um, validified or verified, or the sense that their grandiosity is verified by how other people react to them. That's why they are so dependent on people. Um, and then no contact ever again is the other option, which is the best option, which is just to have no contact with them at all. And, not it's like getting rid of the predators in your life. So, like getting rid of fleas or ticks or, whatever, just your infestation, you just get rid of it, right? And then you're done with it. So JC is, Pope Leo gave a beautiful speech slamming Trump yesterday. Pope was saying our problem is not simply Trump choosing darkness for light, but making us make our own choices. Oh, that's beautiful. I'll have to look at that. Lisa says, manifest the truth, and Officer could raise our vibrations. Yeah, we're just constantly challenged to do that. We don't like it. We don't like that we're in this situation. We really wish that we could wake up, or I do, think this is all a bad dream, and there's President Harris and Vice President Walz. Look at them. Look, they're lighting up the White House. Do you remember how the Bidens used to light the White House up, like for um, the different holidays, that like Pride Day or something, and it would be like colored rainbows, and how they honored the victims of COVID. I could cry when I think about the Bidens, and how beautiful and how lucky we were to have them in in power. Do you remember? Um, he did. How did he see the Pope as incapacitated? Um, Linda, you're saying narcissist people hate themselves and try to feed off others. Successful, sometimes sadly. Yeah, exactly. So we're food. Soylent Green is people, and we don't want to be tasty food for them. We want to make ourselves not tasty. Wow. Pope was sharing a vision he had of Trump in the future, incapacitated. I kind of see that too a few weeks ago. Not that I wish this would happen, but I did hear my guide say to me that he was due for a major ischemic event, which I believe means a stroke. And then I kind of saw him after that, and like how he's come back from. Uh, so the light is kind of weird. Um, he's always come back from his events, right? That we thought he was on the edge of making his transition, then he would come back. But I think the next stroke is going to be, he won't come back from that. I don't think, whether it's incapacitated or leaving the planet. Not that I hope for that, but I've kind of been seeing that, and I think maybe it's just common sense if you know what the signs of cognitive decline are, or like a potential, I want to say neurological instability. That it's not hard to draw certain potential conclusions. Oh wow, this is interesting. Hey JC, what? Where did you see that? Like, what channel, or can I find that? I'd like to see that. Um, MLR, maybe some psychics need to invite the Pope onto their YouTube channels as a guest. Sounds like his vibe isn't that far off. No, it isn't. He's amazing. I am so thankful to Francis for giving us Pope Leo. He's so wonderful. Um, yeah, yeah, because he sees the truth. He sees, who this orange one is. Um, what have I missed up here? Yeah, may history smile upon the Bidens, and it will. It will. I promise you. Um, so, yeah, I think when it comes to this point, there will be more shocking events and more shocking things said and done. But again, we need to regroup every time, and come back to our own inner light, our own power, and we're moving in a direction where that becomes stronger and stronger, individually and with the collective, towards the light. It's just coming. They're trying. I think that the negativity is trying to stop it, but I don't think it will be stopped. I don't think it's possible. Time is on our side. Whatever's happening now. Um, Oh, okay. I'll look for his YouTube channel. I'm sure it's probably under Publio. I might have already liked it or subscribed to it. I kind of remember, maybe I did, but I haven't seen anything pop up on my feed. Ramon, please watch the videos of interviews with Kevin Arnett and Sean Atwood. Sean has also interviewed women who've survived abuse and talked about the rings of sex trafficking. Yes, so much of that is, oh, somebody was talking about that in the files, that everything kind of has its seed or genesis or connection um, with Epstein, and you know international trafficking and all of that, and so many people involved, and so many people of that realm in power. So, Ramon, that's a good advice for us. So, by the way, I haven't looked into it too much, but I did see my guides did show me a past life of Leon and the Orange One that I want to look into. I don't know. I thought maybe I would just talk about it on a show like this, or I could do one of my own school style type shows, where I actually like have a montage and everything. I haven't found out exactly what life it is, but I do have a sense of the dynamic. So if you guys want me to do it, I'll do it. I mean, the seeds planted in my head. Um, so here we are. What else has been happening? Yeah. Oh well, there was stuff cooking, right? Before the tragic unaliving of the new MAGA Christ, which was the victims of the Epstein were coming out and speaking. That was happening, right? The 18,000 emails, a lot of those, by the way, were interchanges or exchanges, email exchanges between, I think, Epstein and Ghislaine. And I think there was stuff about the Orange One too in there. There was a lot that was going to come out from there, but it just had stopped. I hope it resurfaces. But the thing about, even though there's this environment right now of fear and retribution and punishment for speaking about that kind of stuff, there are too many people who are uh, enemies of the Orange One that are very powerful, who are responsible for it coming out. So it's gonna more of it is gonna come out. It's inevitable. You have Leon, you have Rupert. You have now very, very pissed off New York Times because, oh yeah, the New York Times is being sued by dear leader. I just watched a Midas Touch on that one, and it had actually filtered through my mind too. It was like, don't Orange One, do not like go with these very powerful newspapers in these lawsuits. I think this was $15 billion. This is all about. I think it's all about Epstein and that drawing and whatever. Because Discovery, and he's not doing it in the name of the government. He's doing it personally. So Ben Meiseles was saying that he doesn't have immunity. So yeah, like bring it on. Like, oh my God, if you're a newspaper, yeah. Oh yeah, I heard about that too, JC. Breaking news: Maureen Comey is suing for her job back. And that you can't. They really put. That's what their system too is. They push the boundaries, and you have to push back, or they're going to keep on breaking the norms because they don't respect boundaries, and they're anti authority. But it's really, really important to push back. Wow, that's amazing. They say she's planning on blowing the DOJ wide open, has Cheney behind her. I hope it's her father too, because he knows where the bodies are, allegedly. Analogy. So, Nanette, you're asking about U.S. troops in Belarus. I didn't know anything about that. Um, um, people are worried that, and I do believe Russia wants to get the U.S. involved, but it's too late. They can't win this war that they waged. Russia can't, because their oil economy is gone. Their Their infrastructure is gone. They've got nothing. And it's too late. However, they try to pull the US in. That's what I see. You can ask the guides about that. Yes, the guides say, oh my gosh, I'm getting such a strong message. The US are there. It's kind of like, yes, Putin wants them to be there. So didn't the bridge, wasn't there a bridge blowing up from, is it Belarus to Russia or Crimea? It's right now it's kind of like a neutralizing force. It's a show of force, but it's like impotent. There's impotency there regarding the U.S. and like aiding Russia. James Clark saying there's a lot more light in this world than ever before. Because of the light, we are now able to see what was hiding in the darkness all along. Now the darkness can be dealt with. Yeah, 100%. So much is required of us. It would be so nice to have just sat back and watched the Harris government, kind of deal with this. But I think Aquarius, it requires us to be part of the people, like somebody was talking about the French Revolution. Was initially anyway from the people. I guess most revolutions are, but then we have to be careful with revolutions too, because who fills the vacuum? Who fills the power vacuum? We have to be intentional, I think, in our visions for what we want for the future. Well, yeah, because Russia wants to scare us. They use their, just like it was all over Russia, the meeting with Putin. I don't think it was really Putin. I think it was Putin 3 or something, who's supposed to be the goofy, jovial Putin. I mean, Putin would not. Putin would not. Why would he set foot in America? I mean, no. And why would he get into the Orange One's vehicle alone without his security? There's so much wrong with that visit. But then, they're trying to show the world that they're strong. That's because they are so weak. What they're good at is the gaslighting, the illusion, and so they're trying to use it as, yeah, look, we've got the U.S. and da-da-da. But if you really look underneath at the reality, what's going on there, they don't have even if they, they don't have a Russia they don't have an army anymore, really, to speak of. Apparently they're trying to buy back their air defense because their air defense is almost gone. Thank you, Ukraine. And they're trying to buy back, I think 4 ballistic cruise ships or whatever, airplanes that they sold Turkey in 2017. Because they need them, because now every time or I should say, Ukraine is really good at targets, and they're just blowing up everything. And now, NATO is not going to back down. NATO is not going to withdraw any of their help, because they realize that through Ukraine is Russia's path to take over Europe, and that's what they want to do. But there's something really wrong, I think, with Putin's mental health. Like he's stuck in a bubble. He thinks it's still the year 2000 or something. But if you really look at the economy, the infrastructure, the military there, they just don't have the ability. And there's also, by the way, a thriving Russian insurgency happening there. A lot of the attacks in Russia are actually from the opposition to Putin's government. So, you know, I watch a lot of the different independent kind of channels regarding that war. And one is Jason J. Smart, who works for the Kiev Post actually, but he's brilliant. And his whole life's been to study Putin and you know his trajectory, and he's wonderful to listen to because he just kind of is very rational about what's really going on there. Hey, Chad, I just had a moment to pop on. I missed the beginning. Did you mention anything about the cat thumbnail? What about it? What about the cat thumbnail? Did I put something on there other than I was going to be here today at 3? Just let me know. And I just don't quite know what you're asking, but if I have an answer, I'll give it to you. Yeah, Stephanie, he's really good. That's Jason J. Smart, right? And it calms you down because you just really see the truth behind it all. And I just don't think. I think it's too late, and I think maybe there's this other whole scenario that might be going on. Like, okay, you have Murdoch releasing emails, right? Was it Murdoch that released all those emails? You have Leon, who's like always throwing, like, I want to say grenades in the water regarding Epstein so that it doesn't die down. Well, who are they linked to? They're linked to Putin. And why is Putin angry at the Orange One? Is there some work, like, is there something going on between them? And then I go back to why, when the Orange One's, I'm going to put in quotation marks there because when he won the election, which I don't believe he did, but when people were saying he did and whatever, why were there pictures of Melania on Russian television, that were illicit? So there's stuff going on between those two. I mean, yes, the Orange One is totally complicit with Putin, but is there something else going on? Some anger that Putin has towards T-Rex. I can call him T-Rex, right? And it's not necessarily a harmonious type of relationship. So, yeah, he's taken away sanctions and then went to Alaska, but there's some tension between them. Otherwise, I don't think you would have Murdoch and Leon and this kind of like this continual drip, 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 drip of the Epstein stuff. Oh, yeah. So if it's a reminder, then are there things that are happening in the background? I did ask my guides, by the way, that they said that, are we talking about my thumbnail? That's not my cat, though one of them looks like my cat. Those are just different types of cats with some sacred geometry that I thought would be kind of cool. As I was thinking about new thumbnails. I hope you like them. And if you have a cat in mind and they're not represented, like a type of cat, I will make one. Yeah, 100%. So I get the sense that behind the scenes, and what my guides kind of show me is that kind of like what happened between Epstein and T-Rex. There's betrayal, there's greed, there's maybe T-Rex wanting to make sure that he's on the winning side. So he's not necessarily, maybe he's competing with resources that Putin wants, or maybe he's not giving him certain resources. I get something like that's going on. Oh, spiritual cat technology. What is that? No, I'm totally ignorant about spiritual cat technology. But tell me about it. Is it a thing? Um, oh, thank you, Jesse. Hey, Sunflower. What if there's information or somewhere I can go to learn about spiritual cat technology? Please direct me there. I just think they're super cool. Plus, I am an aside here, and I guess I'm near enough. I haven't finished it. I have work to do. It might even be next year. But I'm writing a book, and in my trilogy. The first one was A Bridge of Light: How to Pray to Angels. This one is about uh, seven archangels of protection, and through writing this book, they've guided me to um, learn about sacred geometry and how they come through and what sacred geometrical symbols are affiliated with each of these angels, which is really interesting because I really I'm not like a good math person, and I really didn't know too much about sacred geometry, but they channeled some information to me regarding it that's kind of blowing my mind. So that's kind of where sacred geometry is coming into my life, so that I can give it to people the best way that I can with what I channel. Of course, I'm always like researching. When they give me information, then I kind of go online or whatever, and order some sacred geometry books and look to see what the resonation is. So that's kind of what that's kind of about, or how it's come into my life. And I have a cat. So it's really just, I will, Todd. Thank you. Another kind of synchronicity thing going on here. I bet that's going to blow my mind. Um, that's so cool. Wow. I had no idea. It was just an idea like, oh, I wonder if I could generate a picture of cats with sacred geometry and flowers. What's that going to look like? Um, Lisa says I entered my cat in the calendar contest, but she didn't get enough votes. I don't have enough people to follow me on Facebook, apparently, to vote for her. I could have won $10,000. I didn't know there was a contest like that. I would have voted for you, though, even though I do have a cat who I think would be very good in a calendar. Um, she's very beautiful, but all cats are beautiful. Um, okay, well, you mean on spiritual um, sacred geometry and the spiritual connections with cats or whatever? Um, I'll look at that later, Lisa. Um, Linda's saying Hootie is pissed that 45 isn't on the ball uh, as fast as Pootie wants. Yes, that's what I think too. To get NATO out of the way, he's punishing 45 with humiliation. Yes, but always realize with Pootie that he's desperate, and he's getting more and more desperate. I mean, they bombed his castle in Sochi. They bombed the Kremlin. It's like he's stuck, pretty stuck in some kind of weird funhouse mirror situation where everything that he does backfires to him. And his bubble is like, it's like these mirrors that just reflect what he wants to see. Everybody's frightened, apparently, to tell him the truth. And he's still operating as if um, the war is, or his war is happening like 25 years ago or something like that. He never factored in drones. He never factored in new technology, or even the fact that NATO would be, thank you, Biden, so it's the same word, consolidated. I tried to say it earlier, and I don't think I could. And uh, you know, uh, homogenous to support Ukraine, because he's still thinking NATO is like it used to be before Biden, when it was like maybe not so unified. And for some reason, there's something wrong with my guides. There's something wrong with his I don't know whether mental illness or it's insanity, like to, some kind of insanity where he keeps on trying to do the same thing over and over again and getting the same results to the point where he lost over 1 million troops. And he's losing his air defenses. He's lost what probably now more than 20% of his oil. And when he went to China to meet with Xi and the other so-called bad boys of dictators, the deal, I heard the deal wasn't even signed. And the deal was that there was going to be a new Mongolia, I think, that Russia could, and that could directly deliver oil to China. But I heard that part of the stipulation, because China now is the big fish, right? Going to eat up the small fish. That's what my guide showed me. And that seemed really scary, didn't it? These bad boys are all together. But the reality is, what oil? He doesn't even have enough oil. There's a big gas shortage in Russia itself. Doesn't even have enough gas for his own country. And then the stipulation, he would have to pay for the building of that pipeline. And it was a humiliation of Putin. So Putin's really good for gaslighting and putting this puffing up and making people scared. But the reality is he's very weak. And the talk within, that strata or hemisphere, or what is the right word? Not hemisphere, but in that group of nations, et cetera, over there who are in the know, think that he doesn't have very long in power. That he and that there will be such a vacuum that can't be filled by his fellow travelers because he killed them. I shouldn't say that word. He unalived them all. He window-sided them. And it's happening more and more. There's now at the FSB are taking out his generals, and it's just crazy. So if you really look into it, he is a paper tiger. Yeah, I wondered that myself, Linda. Plus, yeah, this Pudi had abdominal cancer allegedly, and possibly cerebral palsy, and there's like you psychics out there, let me know what your guides tell you, because I see like a haze around him. So he cannot make decisions that are taking in the reality of what's really going on with him. And that will be, I think, potentially, it looks like maybe the end for him. What is this? Can you please help me get the message from my guides? I've been in a terrible spiritual rut and I need guidance. So, Erin, I do personal readings, and I will always put my information in the description box when you watch this on replay. If you get find it on replay, and if you want a reading from me, I can help you with that. That's the kind of thing I help people with. I even help introduce people to their guides specifically. So yeah, please either email me or Sacred Fire Psychic Readings at gmail.com, or text me at 734-975 773-9758. That's it. 734-773-9758. Yeah, so please get in touch with me, and I'll do the best I can to help you out with that. Yeah, so that's a good one. I think I have to go pretty soon, but we can touch on that before I go. So I think that there's more behind that, but it's another example of pushing boundaries, like bombing Iran. That's pushing boundaries to the point where, yeah, I don't have to have an excuse. I can just, I don't like these innocent people. That's going to cause in the future so many people so many problems. I mean, the illegality of that, the criminality of that. Let's see. Let's see what my guides have to say about it. They say it's all about distraction. It's a game. I mean, it's a deadly game, but it's about pretending to create a war when the war is really not happening, because they want to do something like about, what is it? It's not about fear tactics. It's manipulation. Uh, they want to be able to do that. They're pushing the boundary because of the stupid immunity law to see if they can get away with it. And it's somehow fulfilling a need for the Venezuelan leader too, who, you remember, they used to be friends. But it's all going to end up in chaos. And it may even cause a change in government in Venezuela, so they become a democracy and they oust this leader. It's not going to work out. Whatever it is, I have to think on it more. It's not going to help in the end fulfill the goals of either Venezuela or this country. It's just a big screw up. And they say Stephen Miller's behind it. That's what they say. Hi, Forrest. He's never going to let Crump do his Moscow hotel. No, he's not. He never will. Oh, Aaron, no problem. No problem. Just yeah, get in touch with me. Yeah, here. Thank you, Lisa. So, okay, you guys. So, what do the guides want us to know? Oh, this is, before I go, this is a vision that they gave me when they wanted me to tell you. So, they keep on referring to the like and warning us not to get involved in this inferno. They say this government's like a raging fire, and we need to stay on the periphery, or we're going to get drawn in. They want uh, they don't want us to be damaged by the fire. But they also say, to continue on with that analogy, is that how an inferno initially, like the let's say the house is in a blaze, or the building, and you see the shadow of the infrastructure just before it crumbles and falls down, like the tower card. They say we're kind of in that stage right now. So even though it still looks like there's an infrastructure, it's going to just crumble and fall down. Yeah. This is in terms of Putin delusional and Parkinson's. Yeah, I agree with both of those things. Let's see what else. I apologize that I keep on saying it's kind of like a placeholder so I can regain my thoughts and then answer more of your questions. Know where the exit signs are. Whoops. Sorry. I just dropped my mouse. There are trustworthy sources showing that Trump sent officers to help Belarusia. This is worrisome. Check out information. Pray for Ukraine. Yes. My guides say not to be scared because Russia's very weak, and that the U.S. it's too late. It's too late. There's going. They also show me, and I don't know the timing of this, but I don't think it's that far off, where the Russian insurgency is going to take over. I really don't think Putin has much time at all. His time has, like the hourglass, one, more grain or something. That's what I see. I could be wrong. Okay, you guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. And please like and subscribe my channel. And I will be back next week, okay? You take care. Be well, okay? Okay, be well. Bye-bye.